regarding what is going to be tested in whose nation. And certainly in the United States, we're very familiar with, I mean, the testing of targeted individuals is going on here. And that, I'm just saying that when I hear the term targeted individuals, I don't immediately think, oh, they're just being gaslighted. They're just being tracked and surveilled, and their life made a living hell by the fact that they're being followed by people 24/7 with cell phones who know everything about them and can recite their conversations and recite their thoughts. So I always think that directed energy weapons have to be involved. You can't hear thoughts unless you have very sophisticated technology. You can't just take for example, like a walkie-talkie or something, or a cell phone. You have got to have some alliance with a government, because the government still controls these technologies. So in America, it's Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security was founded post 9/11, and it is a complete Nazi organization. It has a habit of making agreements with various nations. I happen to have a copy of its agreement with the government of Sweden, in general, with the military and intelligence faction in Sweden, to provide them with directed energy weapons for citizen control. So, so you have to have, say you've got somebody in your neighborhood who's doing something to you. They're listening through your walls. You've got maybe helicopters flying over your house. You've got maybe satellite connection to your wiring, to your cell phone, to your brain. All of this cannot be done by private individuals unless those private individuals have leased the equipment, have been gifted with the equipment for some service performed. And if either of those are true, they can't buy it. They absolutely cannot buy it. Then they are expected to document any reactions that their particular targeted individuals may have along with a description of what was done to them. And this is because this is all, in my mind, part of the future transhumanism push to make human beings different. So all of these weapons are, yes, I mean, if you're being microwaved, you're probably being burned because of the frequency of microwave weapons. But if you have 5G in your neighborhood, now you have the missing link, is how I think of it, to connect the towers, the power lines, the fiber optic cable in the street, the Internet of Things in your house, your smart dishwasher talking to your smart washing machine, talking to your smart phone, talking to your smart car. Now the 5G bumps it up because this is millimeter waves, and these are extremely powerful and will definitely impact our physical bodies very, very deeply. And now with the link made, now say it's a rural area, not a neighborhood, then they have the satellite uplinks. And that's what Elon Musk has been sending up, more of these tiny little satellites. All of these will fill in the gap in rural areas so that they have what I call full spectrum dominance. This is a military doctrine of full spectrum dominance. Full dominance of the electromagnetic spectrum. And so the weaponizing, the weapons that they use, they will be able to pick and choose with ease once they've filled in the gaps around the Earth. And then it will be total control. And this is what I call space fence lockdown, because this has to do with the space fence apparatus that was dreamed up long ago in the 80s under Ronald Reagan, who was president, George H.W. Bush, who was vice president, and Dick Cheney, who was Secretary of Defense. And this was the old Strategic Defense Initiative, the SDI Star Wars program. And it has taken this long to ionize the atmosphere so that they can run wireless operations 24/7, and billions of them, trillions of them simultaneously without losing power. They are basically have turned our atmosphere into a mini ionosphere full of ions, constantly ionizing electrons with radar installations, with cell towers, with cell phones, with NextRads, all manner of things that I go into in the Space Fence book. So that said, you see how we're all plugged in. We're all inside the matrix now, just as the film series pre-programmed us to understand our condition. And now you can look at the different weapons. There's lasers, there's plasma weapons, gas plasma weapons. And I would say that if I were looking for mind control, the main thing would be that the person has either an implant, a chip, a biochip of some sort, right, or now, as I'm telling people from what I've learned about the what's coming down on us from the sky and in our GMO foods and being piggybacked on vaccinations, that we are being implanted with nano scale devices. And these have to do with sensors. Self-admittedly, I've seen articles telling us that NASA is up there in the stratosphere, dumping trillions of nano sensors in order to have what they call domination over the human domain. And we have breathed these in because they're very tiny. We're breathing them in with the heavy metals, which are highly conductive, and those turn us into, we've already been transceivers. We're like towers because we have an electromagnetic part of our bodies, and we are a resonant being. But now, so many are in us that our tissues absorb and try to protect us from. A lot of people are gaining a lot of weight easily. It's just the body's attempt to expand in order to begin to hold all of these nanoparticles that we're breathing in, right, and drinking in and eating in and being vaccinated with. So these are what is going to be used for mind control, for control over our bodies. If big pharma and the medical industry need more sick people, easily done. Just you've got the frequency for every disease. We pulse that frequency into an area, a geographic area, and immediately those nanobots inside of us that can be remotely communicated with will begin to be activated. They can be remotely reprogrammed. If you want them to be reprogrammed for Ebola instead of Morgellons, easily done. So this is the horror that we are confronted by, and this kind of, I reread that essay I wrote in 2014. This takes it to a whole other level than what I wrote about then, where I was looking at separate weapons that are used. This makes it so that we ourselves have been weaponized.
Right. Now,